Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Flex and Joe back to review another day in the market. Alright, so we're kicking off December here with Monday, December 2nd. We're going to be looking at NQ, VIX, and ES and the basis loaded strategy. So first, let's identify what the market was setting up first thing Monday morning, right? So starting with NQ, you can see overnight here, I got the higher time frame clouds on, that after Friday's early close, NQ was really consolidating right on the daily 9 EMA right here. Just under VWAP, was just sideways chop. I actually took a trade in this and sat in it forever while it chopped, but that's okay. I'll do that review on that trade, so stay tuned for that. But started to push up over VWAP, got over Friday's close. This area here was definitely a scale trigger. And let's look to the left. Remember that this area at 2106, you see we had multiple touches here. After the opening print here, we failed above, came back down, and then these sellers were holding that area. So now back in the pre-market, you can see how in this same area, there were sellers sitting there, but ultimately they get pushed out. We start to base on them. We're going into the open. CBC is long, and you are really setting up an imbalance where sellers are stuck. And that's what leads to the big pop there. So I know in plenty of other videos, I've been talking about looking for who is stuck, the buyers or sellers, and then being able to play off of them and their sentiment, right? Because, as retail traders, we're looking to follow the big institutions, right? So that's NQ, bullish going into the open. So that's, let's just say that's a runner on first. So then looking at NQ, popped up back to this same area of the gap down, right? Just doing from Wednesday to Friday. I didn't really count Thursday as like partial day. So coming back up into that gap and then pushing back down. You can see going into the open, this was CBC bearish, which now lets a runner on first and second, right? So we got two runners on. Then looking at ES came down, right? Was under VWAP, was just kind of starting to curl here right off this 10-minute 200 area, which is pretty strong. This is the hourly 3450 cloud as well. And you can see that although it doesn't quite touch this area, you know that this is where sellers were obviously trying to defend. They got pushed out. So you can see any sellers who were in this area were wanting to get out for break even or close to it. And then going into the open, there was a very, very small flip bearish here on the candle by candle, but right back to bullish into the open. And then it was a little bit choppy. So going into the open, you were bases loaded on the long. And I really like taking that trade on NQ that we saw here with the big pop, right? So big pop pushes up. You get your first candle by candle flip back bearish here on NQ. So before I get into that bearish flip, people might ask like how you could have traded this, off of the 10-minute candle by candle and off of the 2-minute chart, looking at bases being loaded here for NQ. So let's go. Boy, I hate how it moves away from where we were. Here we go, right here. So if you look, right, we reclaim the 2-minute EMAs. It pushes back down again. It pushes back down to that same zone that I had drawn, right? And it just kind of wicks into this same pivot area that was holding, and it starts to pop back up. So off the open, it can be really quickly. Off the open, things can happen really quickly. But I would just say that like when you see the push down and you see it start to turn back green, that can be your cue to take it long if you want to take it up here. If you're not trying to catch a knife down here. And you'd have like about a 20-point risk, but look at the upside here in just 2 candles. Say you were in at the high of this candle at 46.5. You go from 46, to 113.5, right? That's a move of 67 points. So you're over 3-to-1 risk reward on the way that trade played out. Now, if you scale the majority of your position out and you held on to one, just like kind of trailing your stop, or depending on how you trailed your stop, if you trailed it from here or the top of this or whatever, you could have stayed in for a pretty sizable move, right? This is where your 10-minute candle by candle flips back short. I've identified this a few different times that when the 10-minute flips short, watch out for the 2-minute 50. The 2-minute 50 EMA does help a lot. and you'll see how that is respected. Then it starts to pop back up. All right, so I've got this here on NQ on the 10-minute, right? So when you see this candle by candle flips back bullish here at 11, you have some pretty nice pullbacks here. So let's look at between 11 and 11:20. So here's the 11 o'clock candle. It flips back bullish following this candle closing right here at 11:08. This candle closes at 11:10. This is your bullish flip back long on the 10. Lots of really nice ads in through here. You see that they're not closing anything under the 2-minute EMA, 20 EMA with strength. The orb high is again holding, and this blue cloud, the 3450, is picking up, and buyers are stepping up. It's going sideways. So if you're watching this play out in real time, you know, if you, as you see this here, if you were a bear, you should be concerned by the fact that it pushed down, it popped back up, and now it's just kind of going sideways and you're not getting anywhere. So where we're not getting anywhere, the bears are not overtaking the bulls. The bears are very much at risk for being off sides up here, and it's very easy for them to get pushed out. So, and that's exactly what happens. So, you know, any of our entries in here, you know, let's just say in the mid 80s, this is that bill breaker strat that Maple teaches in his room. You know, but maybe if you're risking about 15, even if we call it 20 points to down here, yeah, you went from the 80s. This is over 40 points up here in just a few minutes. So really great trade there. But right here on the 10-minute, you did have a bases loaded short setup, right? Where all three of them flipped short. Right, because VIX goes long, the other two go short. Just keep in mind, though, that where you are, right? VIX is outside of the orb, and it's pulling back to the 10-minute EMA for the first time. This is likely a trend continuation, not the full reversal. You're outside of the opening range. You're also inside of this gap that I was talking about getting filled, and I was saying is going to get filled on Tuesday or Wednesday of this week, right? I said that in another video. So you see how it pushes down, right? And I'm looking for it to come back, kind of retrace into this area, hit the golden zone, make the lower high, and then push all the way back down, right? So that's how typically the gaps will get filled. They don't usually just like knife all the way through, especially if they're older. Here, same thing. First pullback to the 10-minute EMA. Does go back down through the orb high, but doesn't stay there very long, right? Also, if you were to go back and look at this on the 2-minute chart, you don't have the 2-minute EMAs on the 9 and 20 crossing bearish and being retested. This also here is a VWAP test, and you see they can't close below VWAP. So couldn't close below VWAP here, gets bought up with strength. Couldn't close below VWAP here, even though it pierced it. Or below held, VWAP held. The 3450 cloud on the 10-minute also held. So you have all of these confluences holding and showing you that the buyers are here. Even though this is one of those opportunities where even though you have bases loaded short is actually a prime entry for the long. Because had you taken this long, risking here, very low risk here, you know, in this lower wick, or even if you waited until VWAP was reclaimed and this candle flipped long, or sorry, this candle flipped green, right? You were talking about a 52s entry, and just in a few candles, you're getting over 10 points. On NQ, again, if you waited to this candle flip back long, 58s entry, and within 20 minutes, you're up about 40 points, right? So, and if you held through this pullback, again, this would be a bit of a longer trade, but you're looking at 58s to 258s of over 100 points here. Really a very large move considering what the move we've already made, right? From there, you know, just continue to chop a little bit. You're getting a lot of CBC flips here on VIX, and the market does flip bearish up here where NQ made high of day. So at this point, you do have all three bases loaded short again. That's the second time. So let's look at that on the 2-minute chart. So here's where the candle by candle flips short on the 10-minute, and you see the 2-minute, right? It's consolidating here. It tries to push back up. It cannot break higher. Finally moves lower. Your 2-minute EMAs have crossed bearish. That's why they're gray now. And you do get, you get some pops above the EMAs, but ultimately they sell back off. Pops above, sells back off, and it comes back down, back into essentially the same area that I was talking about where we were, you know, consolidating, going sideways, and the bears couldn't push it lower. You come right back into that same area. And you know, likely, why did we bounce out of this area? Well, because we had stuck bears who were trying to push it back down. They're now getting out break even, and the buyers that were here that made this move up are re-engaging. So it's like 2 for 1, right? If there's any bears left, or if there's any buyers left, or a combination of the two. Pushes back up, you don't make a new high of day, but the trend does flip back to be bullish, and you get a couple nice 2-minute EMA retracements here that all worked out pretty well. So if we go back up to the 10-minute chart, yeah, so you'll see here's where we flip back long on the 10. 10-minute EMAs are reclaimed, pushes back down, 10-minute 20 tap. Really nice Really nice pullbacks there, and really nice entry opportunities for a late day long scalp. So I really hate that it sends us all the way back in time. But even here as well, your candle by candle would have flipped long already here. So you had multiple opportunities following the flip here, nothing closing below, so you stay in and it moves up. So if you got in anywhere over here at around the 200 mark, it did move up about 40 points. So slow, kind of choppy, but still gave it to you. So anyways, that's Monday, December 2nd. And hopefully you guys traded well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And shit, hold on.
What do, baby?
Oh, that's making it in the video. Oh, that's making it in the video.
You're off, right?
No, I'm not off. No, I didn't see that movement. Can I get a recording of that? I'm gonna try to find somebody dancing like that on the internet so they can see this. Oh, that's amazing. Anyways, that's it for this recap, y'all. What it do, babies?